Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another 1000 Gamerscore Report. It has been a while since I've done one of these, but it's been a while since I've played a game that I felt deserved it. This was truly a labor of love. Stress on the labor, stress on the love. As you can see, today we're talking about Terraria, and it's a game I loved so much that this is actually the second time I've played through and completed it. This came out for the last-gen consoles for the Xbox 360. It only had 400 gamer score then, and I think it was probably the hardest 400 gamer score that I earned. But today we are talking about the new next-gen version of Terraria. This is for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. It's similar to what's out on PC and other consoles, but it is a little different. It's its own flavor on the new gen, the current gen console systems. So that's what we're covering today. There are 30 achievements in total for 1000 gamer score. Yes, you get the full 1000 this time, so that is a bit of a relief. There's no DLC currently available for this game, and I don't believe there are any plans for it. There was a sequel that was kind of in the works and got shut down, which is disappointing. I love this game. I'd look for more content of it anywhere I could get it. But as of right now, the 1000 gamer score is the max. That's what you get. There's no DLC, so you get through this, and then you are done with the game. If you're not familiar with what this game is, the simplest description, but mostly inaccurate, is 2D Minecraft. It is a side-scroller where you build, you mine, you craft, you put resources together, but instead of the focus being on building and farming and creating things, the focus is on improving your character to fight more elaborate and more powerful bosses. This is definitely a combat-focused game, as opposed to Minecraft, where combat is in the game, but it's not the focus of the game. So early on, you start off just with a simple wooden sword, a little dagger that you poke out 1 inch in front of you and do 1 or 2 damage to simple little slime blobs that are moving around on the screen. And by the end of the game, you're flying on a mount, a saucer, a UFO saucer that you can use to fly through the air at fast speeds and dip up and down through clouds and down into lava. And you have magic missiles that fire out of your hand, and you can call down destruction from the sky, and it gets crazy. So the progression in this game certainly ramps up. It has a great sense of progression, a great sense of accomplishment when you can do something. So like I said, most of this game is focused on getting ready to face bosses and building an arena to do so that is conducive to amplifying your strengths and highlighting the weaknesses of those bosses. So that's what you're going to spend most of your time doing. Only one playthrough is needed, kinda. In this game, again, it's a progression. You're focusing on increasing the power of your character, and you don't need to reset. You never need to finish the game and then start over with a fresh character. You do, however, need to go into at least 2 different worlds. Your character brings everything with them. You pick your character when you're logging into the game, and then you select the world that you're going to enter, and the world remains. It saves and can be persistent, but there are different flavors of levels in the world. One has what's called corruption, and one has what's called crimson, and they have different enemies in them. They have a couple different bosses, they have different resources, and in order to complete this game, you need some of the resources from both worlds. So only one playthrough, only one character, but you'll need to enter into multiple worlds in order to finish off the completion for this game. There are no collectibles, as in a normal story game where you have to hunt for side things that are hidden to collect, but everything in the game is kind of a collectible. Some of the achievements, when we get into the hardest achievements, they are basically collecting everything. And they're not hidden, but there are some pretty arduous tasks you need to go through in order to get all of the items required for those late game achievements. One final note on one playthrough, or I usually talk about what difficulty you need to play the game through. There are 2, what I would guess you would call difficulties. There's normal mode and expert mode. Expert mode is kind of the hard mode. The bosses get extra abilities and they're more powerful. You do not need to enter expert mode at all in order to complete this game. You can play through entirely in normal mode, get everything you need, and get your 1000 gamer score. So expert mode, purely for the fun of it, purely for the additional challenge, not for any of the related achievements. So what does this come down to? What is going to be your biggest time sink? As you could see in the first screen there when I put up all the achievements in the game, I have spent hundreds of hours in this game going for these achievements, and that basically comes down to 2 achievements. I'm going to co-list the hardest achievement because it's hard to distinguish between them. A little bit is going to depend on RNG and your luck, and those are Pet Hoarder. For 25 gamer score, you need to collect every pet, and a Knight in Shining Armors. For 40 gamer score, you need to obtain every piece of armor in the game. And I will have separate achievement guides for those achievements specifically, and for some of the other more difficult ones, fighting certain bosses, how to get through certain aspects of the game, and also for those very difficult, very lengthy achievements. So I'm not going to go into it more than that. Basically, you need to beat everything in the game. You need to grind certain enemies over and over, going for rare drops, because those rare drops are things that you need for either the pet achievement or the armor achievement. So a lot of grinding, a lot of repetition, a lot of setting up a farm that you can use to quickly burn through these enemies to get their drop cycling so that you can win the lottery, get that lucky drop. And that's basically what it's going to come down to. Do you get lucky on some of these very rare drops? Do you get unlucky and you need to spend a lot of time spinning your wheels and waiting for basically the slot machine to come out in your favor to get the drops that you need to complete these achievements? So all that said and done, I love the game. Like I said, I played through it twice. More videos coming. If you're interested in Terraria, feel free to subscribe to the channel. But it's time for my final verdict for the game. And again, this is only related to the achievements of the game, not the game itself, related to the achievements. And I'm going to give Terraria a 6 out of 10. And that's because it is fun. It is challenging. But there is lag issues with the game, which normally I wouldn't care, but they really affect the performance of the game. And when you're trying to go to certain areas and do certain things to grind the achievements, the lag can be a problem. And on top of that, the game crashes. I probably had about a dozen times when playing through the game where something went wrong with the save, where I lost progress. It's unfortunate. I didn't remember any of that happening in the old previous gen version of the game, but it definitely happened, and it was not an isolated incident. You can lose your progress, so I got into the habit of whenever I got something I needed, I would immediately save and exit to make sure that that got locked in, because there were a couple times where I had acquired a rare drop, kept playing, and then went to save and exit, and the game froze, and I didn't get the save, and I didn't get my progress. So those things, normally they don't factor into my achievement score, but because this game is so focused on getting your space set up, grinding, finding those things, and then saving that progress when you finally get lucky and do it, I am going to ding the score for those. I want you to be aware of them if you're thinking about this game. But even with those, I really enjoyed my time with Terraria. Enjoyed it so much that I'm putting this video together and future videos. So if it's the kind of thing that looks interesting to you, if you like what you've seen in this video, stay tuned. Check out the other videos that I have coming, and these will guide you to getting your 1000 gamer score in Terraria. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to leave a like. And as always, you can subscribe to Meat City Gaming for your future content, including future 1000 gamer score reports and a couple more videos on Terraria. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.